Hey guys, I'm Thinking Busy, end of this video. Welcome back to another vlog. Today we're going to be watching Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves. Alright, we are official theater. And yeah, we're all pretty excited. We're all very into D&D, so yeah, pretty excited for this movie. Let's go. So I just got back from watching Dungeons and Dragons, and to be completely honest with you, it was actually a really good movie. It was very different to a usual kind of fantasy movie, and I actually really enjoyed it. Alright, so if you don't already know, this movie was obviously based off of the game of the same name, Dungeons and Dragons, and me and my family are very into that game. It's awesome, and we've been meaning to do a campaign for a while now. Getting off topic. But yeah, if you didn't already know, it's based off of a game. Most of you probably already knew that, but for those of you who don't already know that, so like I said earlier, this movie tried something new. It wasn't just like a normal fantasy movie. It actually added comedy to like fantasy, which you usually wouldn't see in that type of genre. Like sure, there's been movies, fantasy movies that have been funny, but not really like centered around that. It hasn't been like fantasy and comedy. It's mostly just been like fantasy and something else, I don't know. But it usually isn't comedy. So this movie tried that, and it's actually really good, and it worked really well. And I actually would like to see more movies like this. This would be awesome to see. See more like fantasy and comedy movies, because it works actually surprisingly well. And so some little details that I noticed about the movie, and I just loved, like for example, one of them where they actually stick to the D&D like actual rules in the game. Like for example, in this one scene, they have to distract the guards so they can get into the castle. So the sorcerer does like a little distraction to distract them, and he gets his foot stuck, so he loses concentration, which is a rule in the game. So he gets distracted, and the guards realize it's a distraction, so I just thought that was a little fun detail. So another detail that I loved was a Critical Role reference. If you don't know who Critical Role is, it's pretty much just a lot of voice actors playing D&D. So anyways, there's this one scene with the sorcerer again, and he's doing some magic for some of the townsfolk. And one of his tricks is shooting out like the smell of freshly cut grass, and that is one of the characters' names in Critical Role. And I thought that was just awesome, and that was just a really fun detail. Me and my dad are pretty sure this is a reference to him. I mean, they said it multiple times in the movie, so I'm like 90% sure this is a reference to Critical Role, because yeah, that was just, I don't know why they would say it that many times if it's not a reference. So one of my favorite characters in the movie was Simon the Sorcerer. That rhymes. Anyways, he was one of my favorite characters just because I like magic in fantasy movies, and some of the spells that he did were just awesome. Yeah, and he's just generally a fun character. Another thing I wanted to mention is I loved how all the characters looked. They literally looked straight out of Lord of the Rings. I like especially the dwarfs and dwarfs. Yeah, especially like the dwarfs and like all the characters just look sick. What are my final thoughts? This movie was really unexpected. When I went to the theater, there were some things I really wasn't expecting. And to be honest, my opinion, they nailed D&D really well, and they portrayed it really well with a lot of the characters and a lot of the game rules, and just a lot of funny little details and references. But anyways, let's go to the rating. So the rating, so the rating I would give this movie is a whopping, drumroll please, 8.5 out of 10. This movie was really good. And it gets my recommendation if you are a D&D fan or if you're just looking for a good fantasy movie. Or just a good action movie. Anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching this video. This video is a little bit short. I want to make this a little bit of a short review. But anyways, now it's time for homework. I'll teach you subscribe, smack that like button. I'll be lightning back with my next video. Bye!